Wait, are we doing an intro now, or are we doing yeah?
And then we'll kind of...
Okay. Okay, ready? Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So we're here back at Training by JP Gyms with a pull session today. So I'll basically run you through what I'm doing at 16 weeks out from my first show of the year, which is the New York Pro. And we'll just kind of take you through a session. If you have any questions or anything like that, please comment down below. Please like the video and subscribe, and we'll just get straight into it. So yeah, have a good day, and we'll do it. Blah, blah. We can work with that. Right, so today we're doing a bit of pull. So I've just come back from a bit of a deload. Always have a deload before I start prep. Obviously I am 16 weeks out from the New York Pro. So just from the past experience, when I've come back from a deload, I've gone a little bit too balls to the wall and actually just injured myself. So learning the hard way. So this time I've come around and I'll find kind of like a happy medium between my previous top set prior to the deload, and then my back off set. And also naturally when I come back from a deload, I am a little bit weaker. If this happens to you, it's completely normal. It is what it is. Obviously the first week you're just trying to find your sort of feet again. Obviously only utilize deloads when you need them as well. I obviously know my body quite well, and sometimes I sort of that CNS fatigue that you can feel. I know that by that time I feel that, I know it's kind of time to back off a little bit. So yeah, so like I said, I'll find that happy medium between like my top set and my back off set. I'll still go to failure. I just will find that happy medium between the two and then rep that. First set should be between 6 to 10. Kind of feel it out, see how it goes. If I get more, I just get more. So we'll go from there. And then obviously going into my second week, next week, we'll be back to kind of getting those top sets and more if we can. I don't even know how many reps that was. Typically still doing the top set, back off set. And I've really found that to be very beneficial to my off season, to my growth. And I'm really intrigued to see what it does to my physique come stage time as well, because I think in previous preps I've probably overdone it a little bit too much and I've kind of looked stringy because of it. So I think with this kind of style of training, as I go through prep, I think it's going to be really, really beneficial. So yeah, so like I said, this one's about first set 6 to 10, second set 10 to 15. I actually don't really know how many reps that was. Did you count? Okay, actually I filmed myself on my phone because I actually really just don't count my reps. So I'm sure that was like 8. Take it. But yeah, we can go with it. So yeah, so what I'll do now is I'll go to my back off set weight, which I will look in my logbook in a minute, and we'll just rep that until, try and match it at least. And then if we can progress it, we can. But obviously, like I said, deload, trying to just figure out kind of things a little bit this week. And then we'll try and hit new numbers next week. I know some people might be like, that's counterproductive. Like, why are you not wanting to push those top set of weights? Because I've done it before and I've injured myself. So kind of easing myself back into training, especially at the beginning of prep. I don't want to injure myself and be an idiot. And that's something that I've learned from like experience. The old me would have just gone fucking gonto, and I've been injured many a time because of it. Whereas now, just through experience, through knowledge, through learning from people, you know, just setting back a little bit is what will propel you forward. Not just going 100% all the time. Obviously train hard, but be smart about the way that you train, because we're in this for the long haul. We're not in this just to be injured all the fucking time. And I think if I trained the way I did 4 or 5 years ago now, I think I would have torn something multiple times. And obviously I'm not old, I'm only 28, but the 20-year-old Sarah, 90-year-old Sarah is a different person to the person I am now. I'm bigger. I need to be more aware of my capability of training, and I need to be more aware of my recovery capabilities as well. So always think about that. Always be smart with your training. Train hard and obviously enjoy your training, but also think that if you want to do it for a long time, you've got to be very calculated with it. And that's something I've learned from Callum. So yeah, so like I said, it's going to be interesting to see how my look changes on stage compared to what I've done previously. So at the moment, I've literally just started prep. So 16 weeks out from my first show of the year. So we've got 3 shows that we'd like to do. We're going to start off with the New York Pro on May 17th. And then we're going to go into Toronto, which is June 8th. And then from there, we're going to go into the Empro in Spain on June 15th. Obviously, the aim is to qualify for the O. It will always be the aim. It was my aim last time I competed. It still is the aim. So hopefully we can try and get the qualification nice and early, either at New York Pro or Toronto. If not, it is what it is. We still kind of turn up as long as my package is better than last time. Obviously, we all go to win, but as long as my package is better than last time, then that is a win in my book. Obviously, I do firmly believe that I have changed massively this year, especially with the way that my training has changed, my sort of application of training has changed and stuff like that. So, and that's the plan of action. I'm just looking forward to kind of getting stuck in again. Obviously, I was in off season for just over a year. It's been a really productive off season, but now I'm raring to go, ready to get back on stage because I miss the stage so much. And that's why we do this, right? It's getting on stage, the process, the love of the process. So 16 weeks out. I'm going to take you guys all the way through my prep this year through videos. Also on the Train by JP forum, I give them quite a lot of detail about what I'm doing, cycle-wise, nutrition-wise, obviously training-wise, all that good stuff. Me and Tom Hames, my coach, also have a WhatsApp group, which I will link in the comment section below. That is going into even more in-depth sort of reasoning as to why we're doing stuff. I'm very confident in saying no other women's physique competitor at a pro level is going into this much detail in regards to what we're doing. So be sure to get a membership on the Train by JP forum, get involved on the WhatsApp, follow me on Small Mighty 20, and then you can just see what I'm doing. Because again, I think it's really important for you guys to see what a pro does in their run up to some of their shows in the season. So, and even more so if I can qualify for the O, then I'll take you guys there as well. Obviously supported by Train by JP, beyond honoured to be supported by such a big brand and be surrounded by such amazing athletes as well who have been at the Olympia. So yes, and obviously if you want to get involved with obviously getting in, sort of buying some of the Train by JP supplements, Sarah 10 will get you a little bit of a discount off. So that is the plan of action. Feeling confident, but I'm just happy to be in the process. Like I said, I really enjoy being sort of in prep. So see where the penny lands. We'll just go with it, and it should be a really good season. So like I said, it'll take you all the way through. Be sure to subscribe to see those new videos. The hardest part of these is fucking moving all the weight around. I mean, it's not the worst thing to have, but I'm just so strong. I have to move so many weights around. So ideally you want to kind of beat the logbook every time. I'm just fucking cringing it. Every time you come into the gym, whether that be the weight, whether that be reps, tempo, form. A lot of people seem to be very stuck in the only way to progress is by upping the weight, which isn't the case. Like some days you can do, say, I don't know, 60 kilos on a row and it'd be the sloppiest 60 kilo row you've ever done. And then the next week do 60 kilos, but it'd be the best 60 kilo row you've ever done. And that to me is progression, because you're able to stabilize yourself much better. You're able to actually utilize the movement much better instead of just like slinging it around. So always remember that if you feel like you're not progressing because your weight isn't moving in the gym, think about actually, have you increased your reps on there? Have you changed your tempo? Is your form much better? And something that obviously a lot of you guys would know with Jordan Peters is like micro-loading. Now, micro-loading is something that I've used this year, and I honestly think it's an absolute game changer. So micro-loading is using those very thin, small plates that you've probably seen. They're like 0.25, 0.5, like utilizing those to make smaller jumps, but in the long term, you add a much larger amount of weight to that movement without doing these jumps that are like 5 kilos, 2.5 kilos. They're very minute. So realistically, in the long term, you probably add more to your movement, because you're much better and much more efficient at that movement, and you can move that weight much better because you've micro-loaded. And that's just what I found this year, is utilizing like smaller plates to still progress, but also get better at the movement while still progressing in weight. So yeah, but like I said, don't feel confined to just thinking that weight is what progresses you. It's weight, form, tempo, reps, okay? So yeah, so like some weeks I'll say So like my top set is 70 normally on my row. 1 week I did 70 for 10, and the next week I did 70 for 10. That second 70 was way better. My back lit up way more. I felt it much more. My core stability was much better. So things like that. Don't doubt yourself when it comes to like progression. Think about how many things that you can progress on, not just weight. Like feel it out. Like I was expecting that to be a little bit heavier, but we could probably put a 5 on, see how it feels. Again, finding that mid-ground between my top set and my back off set, which is, I've done 70 and a bit on this before, so I'll probably just go to 60, see how it feels. Go to 65, see how it feels, and then yeah, just go with the flow, you know? Go with the flow. I think there's a time and a place for momentum, like with dumbbell rows, so like a little bit of momentum is fine. I think in certain movements, if you're super rigid, I think it's actually opening you up to more risk of injury. And this is something I speak about in one of my old videos when Alicia used to train me. If you're more rigid in a movement and you're bracing and you're not really breathing, you're actually probably wasting more energy being really tight than just relaxing into a movement. Because again, like you're bracing so hard and you're really very rigid, you're trying to get that elbow, just relax into it. I know it sounds really funny, but if you're more relaxed in a movement, you allow things to move the way they should, you're most likely going to get much more out of that movement instead of staying really rigid. So you'll see a lot of people that will be very rigid. They'll kind of be like, just move a little bit. So I'll do a D-handle pull down in a minute, and you'll see I'll be able to reach forward, I'll drive the elbow down, I'll still get what I want out of that movement, I just won't be so locked in, because sometimes it's more counterproductive than if you just let momentum help you a little bit. Like I said, don't just drive it down, driving down and use your whole body, but a little bit of momentum is good. And a lot of people online and things like that will make out that momentum is a bad thing, but you relax into it, let the muscle do the work, you'll be good, it'll be fine. But a little bit of momentum stuff in this is fine. But if it breaks down too much, that's when I'll stop, okay? Or I feel, so with a lot of back movements and stuff like that, I'm very bicep dominant, I always have been. But since working with Alicia, Laz's mum, obviously there's plenty of videos on my YouTube, so go and watch those to familiarise yourself with how Lisa works and how she is. There'll also be more posing videos coming because she does my posing for the season. I used to get a lot of forearm, a lot of bicep. That's why my arms are one of the strongest areas of my body, because when I was younger, I used to just let my arms do the work. But since kind of growing up and doing a lot more training and experience, I've actually realised that we need to do something to stop those biceps getting involved. And I do still naturally get a little bit of arm because they are a secondary muscle that can be involved when doing back work. But one, it's why I use wraps. But two, if I start to feel that my forearm and my arm's just taking over, I'll just stop there because it will just be bicep. It won't even be a back movement anymore. So like I mentioned, do you notice how I wasn't super rigid in that pull down motion? I allowed for that stretch to happen and then a drive back. I wasn't fucking super rigid, and that's just how I like to do them. Like I always say in a lot of my videos, do what works for you. I'm not going to tell you how things should be done. because every individual is different. One individual may do something that I just can't get on with, but you know, that's why I do something like that, because I don't like to be super rigid, just from what I've learned from the people that I've worked with. And I think you get much more out of a movement from being less rigid than if you were rigid. So yeah, and like I said, in a couple of my YouTube videos with Alicia, we do talk about that. So if you want a more of an in-depth look into that, then head back to my YouTube videos, see the ones with Alicia, and she'll talk about it a little bit more than I have today. So be sure to check it out. A lot of people will ask why I don't sit on the seat, because I just find it really uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable on my adductors, and I just don't feel like stable in where I'm standing. When I'm doing the movement, I just don't feel stable, basically. So if you're short like me again, you don't have to have this. You have to sit down. You can just stand. I know Hollingshead does that. A load of other people do it where they just stand into it. And also because I like to lean slightly into it, it's just a little bit more comfortable. Again, adapt things to you and your levers. Don't just think, there's a seat there, I have to sit on it, because I don't. So if you are short like me, then you don't have to sit on the seat, you can just stand. Just bear the way. 2 sets of 8 to 12, and then obviously on the D handles as well, also 2 sets of 8 to 12. Bang on the rep range there, which is quite nice. So a little bit heavier on this one. Bang on 8 reps there with a few partials at the end, just to really get the most out of that movement. So I might back off the set for the weight for a little bit on the next set, just to get a few more reps. So yeah, but that felt really good. Much like, again, I've said in previous videos, when I'm on the handles, I'm not gripping them in, because I'll just engage my mid-back. So if you think about handles and pushing away, then engage your rear delts, it kind of disengages your mid-back because you're not all crumped up like this. So push away and then engage your rear delts, because the rear delts is a small muscle. It doesn't need this massive range of motion. You see a lot of people go into this fly where they come right back here. You're mostly getting trapped mid-back there. So just think, it probably about here would be fine with your rear delts, because it's a small muscle. It doesn't have a huge range of motion, because like I said, beyond here, you're getting trapped mid-back. So just from here to here is perfect. Push those handles away, disengages the mid-back, and just helps you just activate your rear delts much, much better. So do that next time you are doing rear delts. So my split hasn't actually changed since we filmed that upper set way back. So just to go for it again, obviously it's been a while since we've done a video, so if people have forgotten, then here it is. So Monday is push, Tuesday's posterior, so that's a mixture of like back, mostly glutes and hamstrings. Wednesday's rest. Thursdays are normally upper, but obviously we flip-flop them because we filmed upper last time. I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a look into my pull session at the moment. But normally it goes Thursdays upper, Fridays legs, and then Saturday pull. And I've been doing this split for like the majority of the year. And this then kind of shimmies me nicely into the fact that if you're someone that constantly wants changes in their training program and your coach doesn't make them, it's a good thing. So coaches shouldn't be making changes every week. You should be letting the program do its thing. I had this conversation with someone the other day when it comes to their training program, the fact that if you're still progressing, you're still growing nicely. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, okay? So this training program I've been doing for several months now, I'm still progressing. It works well for me. It hits what I need it to hit. So why would I change it, okay? So you have to let training programs you really got to make the most of those training programs instead of fucking wanting to change every 5 minutes. Some people always want change, when realistically it's time consistency within a phase that will bring you the progress that you want. It's not just, I want to change this, oh I don't like this, I want to change it. Obviously as a coach you need to listen to your clients and adapt to that client, but equally if they just want to change because they're bored, explain to them the importance of the time in a training plan, because that's when you'll get the most out of it. In my opinion, no training program should be less than 16 to 20 weeks, because that, in my opinion, is the minimum amount of time that you're going to get the most out of that training program. So if your coach isn't changing everything all the time, it's a good thing, okay? Because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I say it to my clients all the time, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm not making changes just because I don't fancy making changes. I don't feel there should be a change to be made. So this program, like I said, I've been running for several months now. It works. I'm still progressing with it. The only thing that we have changed is more quad stimulus. So we added a narrow stance leg press into my posterior day, which I didn't have before. That's the only thing that we've changed. Rep ranges, so general volume has come down. So volume on certain things like that I need to bring up, like glutes, hamstrings, leg day, volume increased ever so slightly while I was on cycle. Whereas now, because I'm not on cycle and haven't been for a while now, the volume comes down because my recovery capabilities aren't as good as they were on cycle, okay? So that's the only real change that we've made. And the closer we get to stage, volume will change. We still want to have nice, strong sessions. Obviously, as food gets lower, we need to be very careful about what I'm sort of inputting into sessions. So it's all about being smart. But again, that will be conversed between me and Tom and Callum about what needs to change rep range-wise. But realistically, like the addition of the leg press and volume changes, that's it, that's changed. So yeah, it's kind of my split at the moment, and it works. It's different. I've never done a split like this before, but it works, so we'll roll with it. But that's kind of where we're at. Obviously conversing with Tom Hames, my coach from Evolution Training, about what I need to do cycle-wise, food-wise, that kind of stuff. So that's normally all put in place. But really it's just about less food, more movement, and then we go again. So changes that we've made to the plan as of the 16-week out mark, my food has been reduced quite considerably. So my food on a training day has gone from 240 protein, 600 carb and 45 fat. It's now 225 gram of protein, 475 carb and 45 fat. And then on a rest day, I was doing 240 protein, 500 gram of carb and 55 fat. Whereas now I'm doing 225 protein, 375 carb and then 45 fat. So we've had quite a nice drop. And expenditure has gone from 8K steps to 12K. Now I typically move quite a lot anyway, so I was kind of teetering around the 10, 11K mark beforehand. So just bumping it to 12K it's quite easy for me because I don't really like to sit down too much. So yeah, so really those are the changes that we've made. We've not put any PEDs or lipolytics in because it's not really necessary at this point. We should have a nice initial drop from obviously the changes that we've made, which we have. Checking in tomorrow with Tom, obviously that being a Friday tomorrow. So if he needs to make further changes, then we will. But we'll just kind of see how things go. And I'm very much someone who will trust their coach. Me and Tom have been working together for about 10 years now. So I'm one of the only kind of OGs that I don't coach hop. I stay with one coach, and I probably most likely will stay with Tom for the remainder of my career. But that's kind of the plan going forward, and that's the changes that we've made to the start of this plan.